Make-A-Wish. Employees. What was the most strangest thing a Make-A-Wish kid asked for and actually received? I worked at Make-A-Wish for 3 years, and most kids asked for trips to Disney or to meet their favorite celebrity. But then I met Ethan, a 12-year-old with bone cancer, who had the weirdest request I'd ever heard. I sat beside his hospital bed with my clipboard ready, expecting the usual. Maybe he wanted to meet a football player or go to Hawaii. But when I asked what his wish was, Ethan looked me dead in the eye and said, "I want to see my principal get arrested." The room went completely silent. His mom laughed awkwardly, thinking he was joking around. But Ethan wasn't smiling. He was totally serious. He told me about Mr. Garver, his principal back at school. This guy was like a cartoon villain, but worse because he was real. Ethan said Mr. Garver once expelled a kid for having a water balloon fight during lunch. Another time, he suspended a girl for crying during a panic attack because it was disrupting the learning environment. But what really got to Ethan was what happened to him personally. One day during gym class, right after his chemo treatment, he fainted on the basketball court. Instead of calling the nurse or his parents, Mr. Garver told him to stop faking it for attention and made him clean up after himself with a mop. Ethan never forgot that moment. Lying on that hospital bed, bald from chemo and weighing maybe 90 pounds, he looked at me and said, "That man made me feel like dirt when I was already dying. I just want him to know what that feels like." Most people would have said no immediately. It wasn't exactly a normal wish, but something about the way Ethan said it made me think we could get creative. I talked to my supervisor, then the school board, then somehow got the police department involved. Everyone secretly hated Mr. Garver anyway. The teachers complained about him, parents filed complaints, but he never got fired because he'd been there forever. So we came up with a plan. We told Mr. Garver the police were coming to do a school safety awareness day presentation about lockdown drills and stuff like that. Nothing unusual. Schools did this all the time. But when Officer Martinez showed up that Tuesday morning, he walked right past the auditorium full of students and headed straight for the principal's office. The whole school watched through the windows as the officer knocked on Mr. Garver's door. When he opened it, Officer Martinez said loud enough for everyone to hear, "You're under arrest for multiple counts of being a menace to children and 1 count of terrorizing a cancer patient." Mr. Garver's face went white. The officer gently put handcuffs on him while reading off fake charges about cruel and unusual punishment of students and abuse of power. As they walked him through the hallway, every single kid was pressed against their classroom windows watching. Some were filming on their phones. The teachers were trying not to smile. But the best part was when they got to the front office. Ethan was there in his wheelchair, wearing his Make-A-Wish t-shirt and a plastic police badge we'd given him. Over the intercom, he read his victim statement to the entire school. He talked about how Mr. Garver made kids feel small and scared, how he punished students for things they couldn't control, and how the cafeteria food should probably be considered a war crime too. The whole school was cracking up. Even some teachers were laughing in the background. Mr. Garver was in on it the whole time, obviously. The school board basically forced him to participate or face actual consequences for his behavior over the years. He didn't like it one bit, but he went along with it because they told him it was either this or early retirement. They arrested him right out the front doors while Ethan waved goodbye from his wheelchair. The local news even picked up the story. Ethan became like a celebrity at school for the next few months. Kids would high-five him in the hallways, and teachers would sneak him extra cookies at lunch. 6 months later, Ethan passed away in his sleep. His mom called me crying, and she told me that those last months, Ethan talked about his wish constantly. Not because he was proud of getting revenge, but because it made him feel like he had power again when everything else in his life was out of his control. The school ended up renaming their media center after him.